What if I was to tell you that there is a major problem with the internals of nearly every modern building we build today? We've come a long way in dealing with high winds and seismic forces on our buildings, but we have a long way to go to protect the contents of our buildings. The Qubit Total Frame Isolation System is set to propel us in a giant leap forward, rethinking the way in which we isolate metal stud walls from the movement of structural frames. The ability of structures we build to resist dynamic forces such as high wind loads and seismic earthquake loads is vital as the need to build taller and safer buildings grows every day. Steel and concrete structural frames are built to sway in the wind and move under earthquake loads rather than break. The metal stud enclosures we build within those concrete and steel frame structures cannot just be attached to the frame or its delicate contents. Walls, bathrooms, firewalls, kitchens, built-in cupboards and shelving would get shaken or torn apart. Current methods include the attachment of wall tracks at the base of the wall and the use of various available deflection head tracks at the top of the wall to allow the structure to deflect vertically and move sliding past the top of the metal studs. At close-up range, we can see that the deflection track's way of accommodating in-plane movement is to drag the track along the top of the studs, as it is not physically attached to them. Which makes sense until you see what happens when it meets another wall. The system does not account for movement in the out-of-plane direction. In reality, as the head track slides across the top of the studs, it moves at the same rate as the out-of-plane wall because they're both attached to the concrete slab. The out-of-plane wall has not been designed to accommodate this movement, so the wall gets pulled out of vertical alignment. This is also the case where two intersecting walls meet, as the drywall is pulled apart, tearing open cracks where the two walls meet. The often unnoticed or unspoken truth is that because the four walls are all sheathed and plasterboarded together, they need to remain isolated from all movement in all directions. What nobody is telling you is that while the concrete and steel structures are designed to survive extreme movement events, your internal wall systems are not, and your residents and your belongings are not protected. The consequences of this during an earthquake or high winds are squeaking sounds as the metal bends, cracking of inflexible plasterboard, and damage to anything attached to the walls. No solution has arisen to accommodate movement in all directions. Until now. Introducing the Qubit Total Frame Isolation System. It replaces the deflection track with this innovative new head track, which features circular perforated cutouts which are snipped out quickly at the designated anchor points. The head track is fixed to the studs. A bracket is then inserted and fastened into the structure above. The bracket can deflect vertically when required. Fire tape with a self-adhesive backing can be applied to the top of the track. The bracket can slide in plane, and it can also accommodate out-of-plane deflection movement, in effect accommodating 3 axes of movement at the same time, resulting in 360 degrees of isolation from the structure. Plasterboard can then be fastened directly to the track, unlike conventional deflection tracks, because the deflection track is fully isolated from the structure. The same methodology applies with external structures or walls, whereby the head track is installed vertically. The result is a higher level of life safety with a fully compliant system that has far less potential for plasterboard movement and cracking, leaking bathrooms, and costly repairs, while solving the pervasive creaking building syndrome that we are continuing to see across the globe. For more information on the revolutionary Qubit isolation system, visit us online at intexinternational.com.